Welcome back to the College Cinephile. My name is Ethan, and I'm joined today by Aerik Pachicano for our first review of this season. We're back after our summer-long break, and we're going to be discussing Hustlers today.
Yes.
Now, Hustlers is the modern crime based on true story film directed by Lauren Scafaria. It stars Constance Wu, Jennifer Lopez, Keke Palmer, Lily Reinhart, and in a cameo role, Lizzo and Cardi B. Now, I know that listing off these things in a movie about strippers, you probably think that it's bad.
It's a recipe for disaster.
But it is actually a really good movie.
Oh my gosh, it's so good. It was really well done. I was super surprised. And even though people are talking about, Oscar buzz and whatnot, I still was like, okay, well, I was very pleasantly surprised and excited.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the actress among the main cast who kind of has done the most work that people think is good would be Constance Wu. Like, Jennifer Lopez has been around for a long time. She hasn't necessarily been good all that time. Keke Palmer, other than Akeelah and the Bee, has only ever been True Jackson VP.
Right.
And then Lily Reinhart from Riverdale. I mean, that's true. But you have Riverdale queen Lily Reinhart herself. Doesn't seem like a good cast, but each one of them fits into their roles really well. The plot moves very quickly, and it all makes sense. It's directed well. The story is compelling enough to keep you interested the whole time, and in general, it just is a really solid movie.
I thought that they did a really good job of creating a mix of people, and there's something for everyone in this film. And it was so interesting that they threw every cliche that you'd have in a stripper movie or a rap video, and they were all in there, and you would think that it would be awful, but man, it was done so well. It's like, people take note. And I'm going to use this word, and it's going to sound really weird, but it was beautiful. Like, it was so well done. And the lighting in this was really interesting, and how they would kind of, when they were feeling a certain way, you could really see the separation of periods and the ways that they were feeling by where they were and how it was lit. And that was really well done. So cinematographers and people who are interested in that kind of thing, it is really your movie to look at and kind of pay attention to, because it was seamless and it was really well done.
It felt spiritually connected to Magic Mike in a way, in that Magic Mike does lean heavier into the stripper angle of it, like it's still a goofier movie, at their core, both of them have human stories that people discredit because, this is just that exotic dancer movie with the actors who I don't like.
What this did better than Magic Mike, because Magic Mike has its place in the world of
absolutely.
The cinescope, but this it wasn't just a Magic Mike. It was almost like a Scarface. It was gritty, but it was not gritty. Like, it was glossy. It was very well done, and part of me wants to say that it's because it was done by a female.
Yeah,
absolutely. And I don't always like to make the distinction between a female director and a male director, but this, man, it was just so well done, with so much feeling and so much finesse, and yet so much raw courage, and it was so good.
No, I think you're definitely right, because this movie feels, yes, they are strippers, yes, they are exotic dancers, but that's just their job. That's the medium for the story. And it is definitely because of the perspective of the director. Like, we talk a lot about the male gaze in media or whatever. This movie definitely has a female gaze. Like, there is nudity in the movie, but it's treated about as it's treated the same as like a lamp that might be on the set. It just is the nature of the environment that the story takes place in. But the purpose of the movie isn't to, be an erotic story or something. Like, this isn't Showgirls. It just is. It feels more like Widows in that happens to be a story about strippers.
The actresses were a real surprise in this, and it's surprising not because J-Lo doesn't do great movies. She does. She's a hit and miss, but she does great movies.
More miss than hit, definitely.
Yeah, that's to be A hit for me, miss for you.
Fair enough.
But still, Constance Wu, again, we've seen her do comedy and we've seen her do some really great films, but man.
She's not funny in this movie.
Not in this movie, but she just carried this film so well, and it was beautiful, and J-Lo, man, it was so gritty, it was dark, it was something very different for her, and yet so familiar. Like, it's like she came from a familiar place and really spoke to us and knew this character.
We really need to talk about Jennifer Lopez because, I mean, if you look at her filmography the past few years, you get stuff like Second Act and The Boy Next Door, movies that aren't winners and have no place in like the cultural consciousness after they come out. No. But she is phenomenal in this movie. I was astounded. I mean, not that I didn't believe that she could be a good actress, because it just is that she's been taking roles that don't allow her to actually act in believable ways. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because she usually does these heightened, silly comedies, whereas this is a very grounded performance from her. She really feels believable, and she definitely anchors the entire movie.
She really does, and she makes you feel for this character who is doing some very awful things. Well, no, maybe not awful, but well, they're not so
questionable.
Good. They're questionable things, but with wonderful. I don't know. Her heart in this film is really, really seen. But then, Lily Reinhart out of nowhere. Oh my gosh. Okay. Now, if you're a Riverdale watcher, you know this girl is a good actress. She's a good actress. But wow, in this film, like I was impressed, and I literally through the whole thing, and I don't know if it was the styling, because that's another thing to talk about is the styling in this film. I don't know if it was the styling or if it was her, but I just saw Brittany Murphy through the entire thing. It was like looking at a time capsule. This girl reminded me of Brittany Murphy through the entire film, and it was really eerie yet really just incredible. I was impressed.
Yeah, everybody's good. Even Cardi B, who has like 10 lines in the movie, she learned those lines and she delivered them believably. Like, I was shocked by her. Like, she's barely in the movie. They've been really pushing Cardi B and Lizzo. They're cameo performances at best. But I appreciated Cardi B's performance in this movie for what it was.
Ladies and gentlemen, take note. That was one of the sound bits for you. But also with the cameos, it was no, Coyote Ugly where you see Tyra Banks for like 2 minutes and then she's gone. They actually were a part of the scope of the story, and they were there. You'd see them. They said things. Lizzo pulled out her flute for a little bit. They did some dancing. It was incredible. Usher made an appearance.
He did.
That was really interesting. It was really well done. I just enjoyed this film.
So, out of 5 reels, Aerik, what would you give Hustlers?
You know what? I honestly think this one is going to get some Oscar buzz, and so I'm going to go ahead and go with 5 for this one. The first one out of the bat this season, and I'm giving it a 5.
I'm not quite there, but I did definitely like this movie. It's a 4 out of 5 for me. I think it's really solid. I definitely think we're going to need to be watching for J-Lo's name when it comes to awards season. And I would just encourage, go see the movie, even though you might think of it as being like low art or whatever because of its subject matter. It really is a compelling story about compelling women and is deserving of as much praise as anything else, and movies like Wolf of Wall Street get praised for being men in salacious circumstances doing dirty things, whereas movies like this get looked down upon. But it really shouldn't be. This should be seen.
Especially if you're a Julia Stiles fan. Gotta love Julia Stiles, just right in there. Well, thank you guys for joining us this week.
Yeah, thank you. If you like this video, please like it, subscribe if you want to see more things, and we'll see you next time on the College Cinephile. Thank you for watching.
Bye, guys.